You know what really grinds my gears?
Let's talk about that.
Hello and welcome to episode 47 of Triangle Squared. I'm your host, Brett Beck, and alongside me, Mr.
Saul Bridges bringing you lucky episode 47.
Lucky episode 47. What's that? Winner, chicken dinner. That's right. So what did that come from, by the way? Was that because isn't that on Fortnite or Battle or
that's on PUBG, but that's not where I got it from.
I mean, I've heard that before. I just didn't know what made you spring to saying it.
I think it's I think it's a saying you use when you win blackjack and you get 21.
Do you get your earnings and the chicken dinner?
I don't
know. That would
know.
be tight.
I don't know, but there's a really, really good movie called 21, and it's about counting cards, and that's what they use in there.
Why do I feel like I've seen this?
That's Kevin Spacey is like the teacher and stuff. It's a really good movie.
Okay.
But yeah, got it from that. But you know.
Okay. Well, that's cool. If you've never heard of us, we are Triangle Squared, a PlayStation podcast, and you can find us every Monday. We post a new episode to YouTube or SoundCloud or any of your podcast services that you like at 10 a.m. PST and 12 p.m. CST. One of these days I'll get it just perfect, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But until then, I will continue to lynch myself 5 times in the back as soon as we get done recording. But, Saul, what have you been playing this week, good sir? Because I knew one obvious answer. Have you fiddled around with anything else?
Besides Monster Hunter, kind of, sort of. I got Celeste on my Switch.
And good. Celeste is the one that has like the weird strawberry mess. In terms of just remembering, we saw it at PSX 2016.
Oh, wow.
And obviously it's just recently come out, like end of last year, right?
Right.
So I haven't played it yet because it's out on Switch, but I think it's out on PS4. Just haven't gotten around to it because
it's a super fun game.
Chasm should be coming relatively soon. I'm excited for that.
Chasm?
Yes, it's a Metroidvania that has. It's interesting when you start the game and load the game. You have one world, but everybody's world will be different. So it's kind of like Sundered, where it has an outline or whatever, but then it'll fill in the. It's procedurally generated, but for a whole playthrough.
It's called Chasm?
Yes, and it's really cool. It's gonna be it's not gonna be on Vita, sadly, if I'm not mistaken, but it's like a 2D
Switch?
pixel art. Not that I'm aware of, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't, now that I don't have a Switch.
I forgot you sold it to Blaze,
yep.
didn't you? Okay, well, now Blaze has a Switch. I could talk to him about that. But hey, this game does look pretty cool. It's on Steam and PS4.
I know I think it's already released on Steam, right? Or at least in early access.
I don't know. I don't know. I've seen an article from 2013 though, so I don't know what.
The game's been announced for a long time.
Wow, that's
they've been
5
working
years
on it for
ago
a while.
now.
Yep.
But other than Monster Hunter and a little bit of Celeste here and there, really nothing else. I was playing PUBG on Tuesday, and then my power went out for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
So really though, that's all I've been playing. Trying to think, is there anything I downloaded you can't download Path of Exile on Steam. It's just there to play.
It's like one of those automatic download things or whatever?
No, it's like you go to the page and you can't download it, but you can play it. It's like Dota 2. It's like, since it's, I think, made by Steam.
It's part of it then, I guess?
Yeah, or Valve, I mean.
I guess. I don't know. I didn't know that.
I mean, I don't know if it is part of Valve or not, or if it's.
I think Path of Exile came to Xbox.
It came to Xbox, but not PS4, which it should, because it's a really fun game.
But
I've been thinking about playing that.
Path of Exile is like the Diablo style dungeon crawler, right?
Yeah, Diablo. It's a lot of people.
Does it have some roguelike elements?
I do not know. It says on my Steam account I played 0.3 hours, which don't even remember playing it, but there we go.
That's not even 30 minutes?
Not even 30 minutes. But apparently a lot of people who liked Diablo 2 but did not like Diablo 3 because it was not Diablo 2 said that Path of Exile and or Torchlight is the way to go.
Oh, Torchlight 2 is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's free on Steam too.
But I still that'd be interesting. I paid for it. I have it on Steam, but I don't know. I think Diablo 3 is amazing. I mean, I get that Diablo 2 is that game that just literally people sat on for years, but I mean, I don't know. No, it's one of those things where who would want and I know the groups exist, but why would you want a sequel to come out just to be exactly like the game that came before it?
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, just get a remake. Why not just be like, okay, well, you just want to play prettier Diablo 2, then let's just remake Diablo 2. But that
a lot of people don't want Diablo 2 remade because basically the people who made Diablo 3 would be remaking it. And it's
that may not be true actually, but
that's potential. Because Blizzard's weird in that sense.
But it also could just be, but why does it matter if it's just a ground up remake with new assets? Then the game won't change anyway.
I don't know what it is about Diablo 2 people want to stay the same.
I mean, it's got an interesting graphical style. I still think it actually looks okay. It's just got like a almost pixely art look, just because when it came out.
Yeah.
I mean, people still play that game daily. But.
Oh, no, I'm sure. But what about you this week? Have you been playing anything other than Monster Hunter?
Yes. Shadow of the Colossus, I've now beaten twice on. So I got New Game Normal and then New Game Plus Normal, and I've beat all of the normal time attacks. Now I'm going for my hard playthrough. And once I get through with the hard playthrough within the 5 hours and 27 minutes or whatever it is, I'm doing well. I've gotten 4 of the Colossi I beat in 33 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and they all have new sigils somewhere.
Yeah.
So and I've
that's
never
how hard
played.
mode is. Hard mode's an extra sigil somewhere. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. That's just me. That's not time attack yet. Time attack I do have to do.
Right.
So I'm working my way towards platinum on that. That game is just so cool. Still,
it is.
It's got. I mean, Hannah was just kind of watching. We were like, "Wow, this is interesting." I was
it's
like,
"What you remember it looking like?"
Weirdly enough,
yeah,
but at the same time, the only moments that aren't are like the weird background stuff that you can't even go to. Like I shared on Twitter, my personal Twitter actually, because that's what's connected to my PlayStation. But a video of where you run up to a cliff and there's just a beautiful waterfall.
Yeah,
I mean it is gorgeous,
and
you can't even, and it's multiple waterfalls.
The first game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like it was kind of there, but the draw distance was so bad that you really just couldn't see any kind of detail.
Yeah,
it was like real blah. But now I'm looking at this, I'm like, this looks phenomenal. You'll never go there. That just goes to show how much they wanted to make this world look really complete. And like I say, the game makes sense for that since there's not, you're never fighting multiple enemies at one time. It's always one giant enemy. And besides that, the only other things that inhabit the world are occasional small animals that you can only interact with in very small ways. Because like one of the trophies you have to do is you have to interact with turtles, fish, hawk, and the doves that surround Mono's little resting plate thing. Yeah. So, and I got that trophy. So, but that's literally the only other things that you can really interact with. But one of the things that's pretty cool about Shadow that I don't know if you've seen yet is that there is a new collectible that they've added in this game, which is like a little. I talked about finding the barrel from The Last Guardian last episode.
Yeah.
And in that same, it was the first one I found. In that same cave where that's at, there's this little gold thing that kind of like when you're next to it, it kind of like hums a weird tune. And you go to it and you hit R2 like you do for everything to pick it up. And when you pick it up, you go into your map that you can pull up, and there's little clouds in the bottom corner that move and
kind of reveal an area.
And it says 1. Okay, and there's apparently 79 of these.
Oh no, that's too many.
But hold on, people have already found all 79 of them.
Okay,
and what it does is unlock. It shows you like an X or something on your map that may not be exactly right, but I'm fairly positive it tells you where to go on your map, from what I understand. Or maybe it reveals a light for your sword, something, and you go, and it reveals a door that's at the side of the shrine of worship that comes down, and it reveals a basement to the shrine that's got rock, like a rock formation come up in it, and a sword that's in an altar, and it's called the Sword of Dorman.
That was definitely not in
No, this is new.
In the original. I was going to say, this is definitely new.
Yeah, this is new. But here's my thing. Do you remember, and I'm not going to say this is exactly it, do you remember back when they announced the game that Ueda actually came up, or came out and said that he had sent off a list once he found out it was being made of what things he would like to add or change
so this
about
is probably
the game.
One of them.
I wonder if this is one of them.
Hey,
it seems a little too weirdly ambitious, but I mean, it could have just been them. But it's cool. The sword hurts your health regeneration, but gives you massive damage output. I mean, versus anything else in the game.
So I wonder, you probably be able to take down Colossi with that then, without actually hitting their sigils.
I don't know if that's a thing, because I mean, story-wise, lore-wise, the reason you're hitting the sigils with the magic sword, even though you can do it with other swords, to be fair, is that's breaking the seal,
right? Which
allows the pieces of Dorman to come out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get too far into that because that is technically.
Almost
how do you even spoiler that game to an extent? But
it's weird. It's more so of the experience than the actual lore.
Yes, it's more about what's going on. Because I mean, I can tell you every little thing about The Last Guardian, but that won't change that when you play The Last Guardian and you do all that stuff yourself. As long as you're not just looking for stupid stuff to hark on the game about, you're realistically going to have your own experience, and
right.
Just the ending of these games are always so strong. Yeah. That's what sticks with me every time. Is that when it comes to the end, you're like, wow.
I can't speak for Ico or for Guardian, but I
Ico's
know
so
Shadow.
Cool. Ico's so cool because of the way that Shadow ties into it. Definitely when Ueda came out later and said that Shadow acts as a prequel to Ico and the world of Ico, and I'll explain that to you off camera so I won't ruin it for anybody who hasn't played any of these, but it's really cool. There is an Easter egg for Ico's secret ending, though. In Shadow of the Colossus, when you go to like the southeast part of the map, and this was in all of them, there's a beach that you can go down to that's got a watermelon sitting beside a log, and that's a callback to something that happens in the secret ending of Ico, which leads to the fact that this is the same land.
Universe, yeah. That's really cool. I like it when games do that.
Even though this happens before it, it's a throwback to this. This is the same area, which is cool. But I'll get into all of that, and there's even theories now, even though he's not come out and said it's part of the same universe or timeline or whatever, that The Last Guardian's also tied into this overworld. And I'll talk to you about all that because it's pretty interesting. Sure. But yeah, outside of that, that's pretty much all I've played. I have not touched anything else, even though I've intended to. Haven't gotten to too much more Soul Sacrifice, mainly because I've just been busy at work. And when I come home, I've been really playing a crap load of Monster Hunter and Shadow of the Colossus. Anytime nobody's on Monster Hunter, I was kind of stuck at Nergigante for a little bit. I didn't fight him too many times, but it just felt weirdly impossible. So I was like, I'm gonna take a break.
That's where I feel like I hit the wall. Yeah. I was farming Legiana to get my high rank Legiana armor for my bow.
Yeah. So
and
now that I've killed him, there's a new set of armor I really want. It's really dope looking. But we'll go into that. We'll play that whenever you get off here for just a little bit, enough to be him. So anyway, so I'll go ahead and move into the drop.
Sure thing. So we have Abo Kashim for PS4. We have Apex Construct for PSVR, Armored Warfare for PS4, Deadbolt for PS4 and PS Vita, Defender's Quest Valley of the Forgotten DX Edition for PS4, Conrad the Kitten for PSVR, Little Adventure on the Prairie for PS4 and PS Vita, Metal Gear Survive for PS4, both available at stores.
The most divisive game of the week, I'm sure.
I'll bring that up here in a second. Pass Cure for PS4, available digitally and retail. Premium Pool Arena for PS4. Rad Rogers for PS4, digital and retail. Restless Spirit for PSVR. Run Dorothy Run for PSVR. The Station for PS4. Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet for PS4, both
have you
digitally
seen that?
And retail.
It actually looks kind of cool. And the Sword Art games have apparently, I played a little bit of them. They've been hit or miss for me, but I was looking at that, like graphically it looks good. It looks like it's got a really fun combat system. I actually may pick that up.
But
I'm
have
torn.
to look into it.
But yeah,
I liked first half of Sword Art, or first book.
First Sword Art, yeah.
We have Symmetry for PS4, Tiles for PS4, and Xenon Valkyrie Plus for PS4. Somebody on Reddit, I was reading like some PC gaming deals and stuff, and the beta came out, and somebody said, hey, I'm about to try this out. He said, it may not be done by Kojima, but at least it has the cool Fox engine. And then he commented again, responding to himself, saying, who the hell makes it to where you have to run around a menu? And that's exactly my complaint with that game. So,
well, you know who does? Lionhead
Konami.
Studios, the creators of Fable 3.
Does Fable 3 do that? I
don't remember that?
I never played Fable 3.
Yeah, whenever, I can't remember exactly if it was like this, but whenever you went to your start menu or whatever, it'd load you into like a room and you could like walk into different areas and do stuff.
Stupid. No, don't do that.
As far as I remember, it was one of the weird things about Fable 3.
Because Fable 2 is my jam. Fable 2 is a fantastic game.
So here, look, we'll talk. You can go ahead with anything you have to say.
No, I was just going to say nothing this week that excites me so much. But we do have something we're working on. If you follow us on Twitter, you will have seen that we were thinking about replacing the drop, but on the poll, it actually was a lot more people liked the drop than to replace it. So we are going to keep it, but what we are going to do is that starting next month, whenever the PS Plus games from March are announced, we're going to do a Discord kind of PS Plus gaming book club thing where we're all going to pick a title. We're going to pick one. Me and Saul will sit down, and once we get the Discord going, the specific chat room for that Discord, we can talk about which ones everybody wants to do as a whole. Right. But the idea is for us to all have pretty much unhindered access to a game. We choose one of the games that comes out as a PS Plus game, and then in the chat we can all talk about it, our experience of whether we're aiming for platinum or not. Kind of just a fun thing to do that it makes a lot of sense for Discord. It's not really as good for podcasts, but we will mention every month when we change the game. Right.
So at the beginning of every month, we'll talk about it when the games become free. We'll talk about what game it's going to be, and then we'll kind of move everything through there so we can all talk. And some of y'all can intermingle like we already have with our Discord chat. I think that's a cool way, and then we want to make it a separate room so that we can talk in a spoiler-specific fashion if we choose to. We may even make one that's spoiler-free and one that's spoiler for the book club. That way, people who do want to talk in a spoiler fashion can do so without unintentionally giving away details. But what kind of started the idea for me is I was actually kind of thinking of what I wanted to do, because with Nat coming out as a free game for Plus this month, I was like, man, I'm going back for the Platinum. I have the Platinum for 2. I'm close on this one. I'm going to go back and grab it. I was like, it'd be cool if that was just like something we did like the Platinum Club or something, where it's just going to name a game that comes out and we can all try and platinum it within the month. That's one of the PS Plus games. It's something free that everybody has access to. But not all people are really there for platinums anyway. It's kind of a weird thing. And if we were more trophy-oriented, even though we do love trophies podcasts, then maybe we would. Kind of like the boys over in Trophy Trust. That'd be a cool idea for them. I actually may send that to them. But hey, don't know if y'all thought about this, but it's a cool idea, I think, in practice. So, or in thought. On paper, it's cool, but
we gotta
hopefully it's cool and a good idea.
We gotta get the Discord and stuff set up, so you guys stay tuned for that when the PS4,
we will blast it out
when
on
the PS
Twitter.
Plus,
and we will talk about it when the month changes and we'll get the games. But that's just kind of one small announcement. But Saul, let me go ahead and hop into the news and we can get this episode moving along.
Sure thing, go for it.
And I was right, by the way. So when you hit the menu, you go to what's called the Sanctuary, and it's like you run around. It's really weird.
That's dumb.
So super weird thing to do.
Good thing to announce on Pet Peeves episode.
Okay, so the first thing up is that if you missed the PSVR sale that was going on over the holidays, it's coming back. For 2 weeks, Sony will be selling 3 PSVR bundles for as low as $199.99, just like last time. And that will be for the Gran Turismo bundle, which includes the Gran Turismo game, the head mount display, and the camera, which are all which is necessary for it. That bundle does include the original head-mounted display. This is important to throw out there. So that means that the breakout box that happens, that you have to plug everything through, does not have HDR pass-through, and that it has slightly worse cable management in comparison to the new model, which also has built-in earbuds. So just keep that in mind, but it is $100 less, and it's a good way to get in and at a low price.
So can you replace the built-in earbuds?
You can put one through the line, I think.
Okay.
But it just has them already built in, so it's better cable management if you don't want to use your own headsets.
Okay. I would just think about like if those failed or something. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, yes, it would be something else.
Makes sense.
It's a cool idea that they're built into the headset, though.
Yeah, it is.
But the other two, let's see, are Doom VFR and Skyrim bundles included, and the Skyrim bundle includes the headset, 2 Move controllers. I'm pretty sure the camera and the game, and it's $350. Whereas the Doom VFR version just includes the Doom game and the headset for $300, but those are both the newer headsets with the HDR pass-through in the breakout box. The sale ends March 3rd. That's pretty cool. I mean, just because you're seeing them really try and get out there. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next piece of news, which is that we finally have a release date for the Rick and Morty virtual reality game on PSVR. This was announced at PSX to be coming over. It was originally, I think, a HTC Vive exclusive. It's made by Alchemy Labs, the same people that made Job Simulator and the upcoming, I think it's Vacation Simulator, right?
Yeah.
That looks so great. Those games are fun. They're goofy and whimsical. And being able to do that in the world of Rick and Morty is really cool. But 2 things. The game is launching on April 10th for $30, $29.99. But alongside the digital release, they've confirmed a physical edition will be launched, as well as an unpriced collector's edition that includes the game, as well as a Rick and Morty pop figure. Don't know which one it is or what it's going to be just yet. And an exclusive double-sided poster that apparently has like a comic book cover style for them.
That's kind of cool.
That's cool. I mean, I think they're kind of riding that Rick and Morty hype pretty well. I think Accounting Plus did okay, which is the Squanch Games, which is tied to Rick and Morty and Justin Roiland. I love that. I'm definitely going to get these games because I loved Alchemy Lab and all the quirky natures of what was in Job Simulator in the world of Rick and Morty would be really cool. Next thing up, this was extremely interesting surprise, but The Evil Within 2 has received a new update that adds the ability to play the entire game, in first person or switch between third and first person perspective at will through the in-game menu. The update is available now. I feel like this is something cool that you can say like, hey, look, we're so we're consumer friendly. This is something that a couple people asked for, and it was something we thought we could do, and it's cool, and it is an interesting addition.
Well, you heard about like where this came from, right? That there was a glitch.
Oh no,
there's a glitch,
but that makes sense. So they just
play in first person.
So they just ran through it and like, hey, we're going to support it officially.
I think it was originally intended to be in the game, and they maybe have taken it out, or maybe it was there for developer testing. But when you could actually
like a debug camera or something.
Yeah, like on PC, you could do console command and actually get it back in there. So I thought it's kind of cool they're actually adding it in because
and I'm sure some of it comes down to just how well Resident Evil 7 has continued to do.
That's true too,
and I think some of it comes down to wanting a second wind. because the game did not do very well at launch. It did not perform very well when it came out, nor did Wolfenstein 2. So I'm sure we'll see some kind of weird Hail Mary that brings Wolfenstein 2 back into the limelight. This is a good time to do it, though, because what else is, like, right now, what other big game besides Metal Gear Survive, which is, a very divisive game, is coming out in this window until God of War for most people?
Not much.
So by doing this, you're ensuring that you have a small window where people are more likely to buy your game. Couple this with like a $20 price drop down to $40, your game might sell a lot more.
That's true.
So it'd be interesting. I'm sure. I don't know if the game is price dropped yet. I haven't been able to find that, but that'd be interesting. I could see that. Another interesting take on things that I've never seen in a game is that tax season is here, and Rockstar aimed to use that as inspiration for Grand Theft Auto Online by giving all players who log in between February 16th and 26th a $250,000 refund, as well as a 10% rebate on every in-game dollar spent through that time period, up to $1 million cash back. And that is Grand Theft Auto money. Don't be thinking you're going to hop on this game and become a millionaire.
I wish.
But then players can log in on the 27th to claim their refund and rebates, which will arrive in your Maze bank account. I love this. Between the 27th and March 6th. So even the game's government's like, hold up, guys. Let me get this. I wonder if the government's going to shut down the game. There's going to be a delay, guys. We're sorry.
Knowing Rockstar and how much they love parody, I wouldn't doubt it.
That would actually be really funny.
Yeah.
I know people would be mad, though.
Oh, yeah.
But it would be funny, regardless.
Go ahead and shut that online off, and we can get Red Dead 2.
Yep. Okay, so there wasn't a whole lot of news, so we're almost done. The next one up is at Dragon Ball FighterZ, and that was confirmed. Remember, Saul told you I was right. That's how it's pronounced, Fighters, not Fighter Z, even though I'm sure that people are going to continue to call it that. I've heard it already.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, Dragon Ball Z, Fighter Z.
It looks just like
Makes
it, too.
sense.
You see Fighter and a huge Z, you're like, which I know it's stylized, but, So Dragon Ball FighterZ first DLC fighters have been announced, and they will be Broly and Bardock. No release date's been given yet, though there was mention that the next Shonen Jump or V-Jump, one of the two, will have it in its issue, which is apparently supposed to come out on the 21st, so that's not far. So we may have a release date soon if that's something you're interested in. I did see something that showed that apparently the online player base for fighters is falling, but I think that might have something to do with just how well Monster Hunter World has been doing. Yeah. And then, of course, other big game releases like Shadow of the Colossus. So it's just pulling people away from it. It'll be interesting to see if that's a permanent drop or just a temporary.
If it can maintain a competitive scene. I think that's what matters.
Yeah.
And when Smash comes out, I guarantee nobody will be playing that.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm sure
it just
Nintendo
depends. They definitely have different audiences.
No, a lot of people who
play the Arc System Works games, because like the BlazBlue. I don't think the BlazBlue would bleed that much into.
Well, no. A lot of people who migrated from Marvel vs. Capcom has migrated to this game. And a lot of people who have played Marvel vs. Capcom are also Smash Brothers fans.
I could see that.
At least in this,
but I also do think that there's a lot of people
fighting scene.
Yeah, but I also think that there's a lot of people obviously who would have bought the game based off of the Arc System Works previous franchises like BlazBlue, whatever the hell it is.
Blaze. I don't know.
We looked it up one day. I still don't remember what it is.
I don't remember what it is either. It's a fun series though.
All right, so last thing on the list, and it's ridiculous, but a Spyro trilogy remaster may be on the way, courtesy of the same team that brought us the Insane trilogy, Vicarious Visions. A lot of our listeners have expressed that they want this game to happen prior to this leak, but it's important to keep in mind that this is currently only a rumor, though Kotaku says multiple sources familiar with the project have corroborated the information to be true. If true, that means that they will be announcing the remake sometime in March, which seems so weird. This is an E3 Megaton that... If this is going on, I don't know. And it seems too early to release because you got to think about this. They ended development for Crash Bandicoot, let's just say like May of last year. Right? That's just a rough estimate. So are you telling me that they had a second team working on Spyro already, or in 1 year are they going to completely redevelop 3 games? And maybe they will, because apparently it only took about 1.5 years or so for Blue Point to remake Shadow. Don't quote me on that, but I was looking at some stuff and it looks like they didn't work on it too terribly long. Which is interesting because you're dealing with a game that's already made. All you're really doing is refining some things, changing a save system, be a little more modern, and then changing all the assets in the game. So if that's what's going on, then maybe. But who knows? Other things, though, is that it's supposed to have a release date of Q3 2018, with one source suggesting a September release month in line with Spyro's 20th anniversary. That would be cool. Don't know if it's true. Sources also mention it will have 1 year timed exclusivity for PS4 before being ported to other systems in 2019, with them mentioning that this is also the same deal struck with the Crash trilogy, which is in line with some reports we saw from the toy earnings call from those people saying that they had a deal with Activision to do their things, and that Crash would be somehow in there was a leak saying that like Crash would be coming to Switch and PC, I want to say is what it was.
Yeah, no Xbox.
Because it was interesting that there was no Xbox mentioned. It doesn't go that far on this one, but I wonder if that'll be a similar setup. But also, I'm just not quite sure that I believe this leak. It seems a little too good to be true. It seems like the fact that it's been leaked so easily and with a reveal so close, something feels fishy about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
but I
hope it's not Skylanders though.
Yeah, I have two things to say. I don't think it's Skylanders Spyro. I mean, the report said it's going to be Spyro Ripto's Rage, Spyro.
No, I'm just saying. I hope they don't use that model.
Oh no, I doubt it.
Ugly model.
I don't know why they do that. That's a specific art style they're going for to keep with continuity of that series, and it's very child friendly.
And they kept Crash the same in Skylanders from what I remember seeing on E3.
No, well, Skylanders Crash looked like Crash, but he still had a Skylanders look to him.
Did he? I thought
when they did the E3 that they showed of him, it looked like Crash and it was classic Crash, but it still had a slight stylistic change.
Oh, I thought it was from going on memory. Of course, I thought it was the one we got in the remaster.
No, it wasn't. Oh. But who knows? They even changed up Neo Cortex a little bit for that specific series. But since this isn't part of that series, who knows? I mean,
yeah, we'll see.
It's weird, but I think that it's possible because Insane Trilogy did amazing. It did amazing. So if you think about that, they are looking and they're going, obviously nostalgia selling right now, right? But I think there's two things, and this is personal opinion, but I think there's two things that made Crash a success. One of them, which I think is almost fact, but I will say still opinion, is nostalgia is really strong in everything right now. A lot of things are pushing and selling off of nostalgia, so that's definitely one factor as to why people were so willing to pick up the Insane Trilogy. But I think the second thing is that Crash Bandicoot is inherently a well-made game.
Yeah.
And while I don't mean to say that Spyro is not a well-made game,
it had
Crash Bandicoot, outside of the very first game, 2 and 3 still held up today as extremely enjoyable, fun games. The first game did as well, but it just had more quirks,
right?
That were obvious
to
it
old school style things.
Yeah, and a couple of like weird control issues.
Yeah. But
with that being said, there were games that still, if I went back and played the PS1 game, outside of nostalgia's sake, they also still played well. Like I mentioned before, I went back and played Spyro, and while it's obviously playable, it is far from what I would consider to be well-rounded and still extremely fun. So I mentioned before that my worry with it is that they're in between a rock and a hard place where if they, like, one of the things that made the Insane Trilogy so great to people is that it was, outside of the addition to be able to play Coco on every game for almost every level,
right?
That it was a completely unhindered experience outside of the save system being updated, which again, smart move.
Right.
It's not something so essential to the gameplay that people would be mad about it.
It was a quality of life.
Otherwise, the camera and the mechanics stayed very similar outside of them having to make the jump animation as best they could between all three games consistent, which did mess with one a little bit. With that being said, though, I feel like if they did the same thing with Spyro and they did not mess with the camera, people would not realize until they got it just how clunky it is and how it really was, because it's a 3D platformer in an actual 3D camera control scene, whereas Crash was 3D with a static camera.
Right.
So if they do that with Spyro, I feel like people are going to be like, oh man, this game kind of plays like crap. But if they change too much of it and it doesn't feel like what people remember, now it's not, oh, this isn't the game that I love. This is not classic. They tampered with it too much.
Yeah, I think quality of life improvements can be minimal to keep the classic feel, but still be quality of life improvements over
It's just going to be a hard rope to balance on, and I don't know how they do it, but they handled Crash Bandicoot so well that I just hope they can give the same kind of
I'm sure
treatment to Spyro, and it ends up being really good, because Spyro is a great character, and I love those games.
I would almost argue that Spyro's fan base is bigger than Crash's.
Oh, fan base wise, no clue. I'm not, because they're very big fan bases. I'm not arguing that at all. But also, let's just say it is a bigger fan base. that's that much more people to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But it's also that much more people to hell. Like, people be like, oh my God, this game's amazing. I think word of mouth was also a secondary, like a really good thing for Crash Bandicoot. People were like, oh my God, I remember Crash Bandicoot. And then people be like, well, look, it remade it and I played it and it's awesome. And then people go, I want to do that. $40 price point, also affordable. Bam. This is going to get me into gaming.
Right.
Or this is going to get me back into what I used to do when I did game. It's like a weird nostalgia play, but in such a way that you can't even believe how amazing it looked and played, even down to how they kept the really quirky driving mechanics in 3, which I don't know if you've gotten that far whenever you were playing the remake.
No, I didn't.
In Warp, there's some weird driving mechanics when you're doing the motorcycle races. They're very odd driving, but they kept it, and it still pulled on people well, even though those were the things that aged the worst. So maybe there's hope to be found. Yeah, I don't want to seem like I'm being a downer about it, and if it's true, I'm going to be psyched. I'm going to be ecstatic, and I will buy it first day to support it, and I just hope that it's really good. That's where I stand on it. But that is the end of the news. So, Saul, let's move this on to reader mail real quick.
Sure. And for a little bit of time constraints, I mentioned it in the main tweet, but we're going to answer 3 questions tonight, and what I'm thinking about doing is banking the rest, and if there are no news next week, I think we could do a cool reader mail episode. If that is something you'd be interested in doing, we're going to do a little bit
we'll see.
Live talk here.
What news comes up, and we'll kind of just base it around that if we want to be topical and have a little fun.
So I know you have one that's that was sent to us in Twitter messages. We'll get to that here in a second,
okay,
because I do have a couple favorites. I'm going to do a bonus one real quick. Our boy Brennan Winterstatter said, "Why is Brett so much cooler than Saul?" And it's because he's hung out with me too much. He's stolen it. He's stolen.
I stole your cool.
My cool.
I did.
You did. You took my cool juice.
Monster Hunter reference?
Monster Hunter joke and a little bit of.
Did I tell you that I was extremely sad that it wasn't just called Kool-Aid? Just because I think that would have been funny.
I mean, they already have Dragonite in the game.
That's true. When we were playing Pants, well, me and him were playing, and I just got into that area, and he goes, I was like, man, this hot thing's going on. I was like, it's draining my health. I was like, okay, so there's something I got to do for that. And he said, yeah. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, look for a mushroom. I think it's called a cool shroom. And I was like, so not only is this called cool drink, but and it's not called a cool shroom. It's called a chill shroom, which is only mildly better. Which
I don't know how to craft like a cool drink. Is it like 3 of those or something? Because I just noticed.
Do you have autocraft off?
I don't know. Is that option I have to turn off?
It's on automatically because as soon as I pick up the mushrooms, it automatically makes them.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because it crafts honey and mega stuff. Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
So you don't have to do anything but pick it up, at least for me. So that's something that you can go and adjust on your own. You can turn automatic crafting off for some things and on for other things that you want.
Yeah.
Which might be good for you because your bow, it may automatically craft ammo you want as you pick up stuff.
Well, I think it has multiple choices to craft with.
Maybe.
Nitro shrooms and can craft a couple different things.
Maybe.
But our first question is going to be Ryan. He's going to ask us, what is your favorite aspect or feature of Monster Hunter? What is it that appeals to you most? Honestly, gameplay is my favorite. It's fluid, and what took about 3 hours to get over what I was thought was clunkiness, but it's really just getting used to the game.
Well, and it's also about
satisfying.
Yeah, and I say also with the gameplay, when you think it's clunkiness, it's intentional. I won't say it's intentional clunkiness. But
it's just the Monster Hunter.
It's
charm.
very specific to. It's almost like Bloodborne, even though Bloodborne's quicker. So I'm gonna say more like Dark Souls, so where sometimes you're weighty and sometimes you move a little bit weird, but your animations are there to make sure that they punish you for abusing them.
Right.
Which is something I have to deal with, like with Nergigante. Is what made him so hard.
Yeah.
Is that when I'm fighting him, the way I can get the most damage off is by using my Charge Blades file combo. But when I actually use my stored files, it's really easy to get locked into that animation once you get too far into the combo, and it leaves me open for attack. It leaves me vulnerable. So I've had to play it cool and try and wait till time that it comes down. But I would say my favorite thing about the game, as much as I love the gameplay, is, and I guess this ties in intrinsically to gameplay, the experience as a whole, but it's the way the world interacts with itself. In every way, like when you, and this is early games, so this is not like a spoiler or anything. It's one of the first creatures you fight.
I was making sure.
The Jagras, as soon as you come at Jagras, whatever it's called, like you'll see it come out of its cave and eat some of the other livestock, and then it'll,
that's part of his lore.
Yeah, exactly. I love it because like you see him do it, he's affected by it immediately, and then so you're like, okay, that's cool. That's some interconnectivity, right?
If you shoot his stomach, he throws up. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean.
It's
every bit
cool.
Details, man. Details. when they walk in muddy, like when they walk in muddy areas that would leave a footprint, there's a footprint. When it's on a rock area where it's not necessarily
it's an actual imprint on the rock.
Or like a scar or a scratch, stuff like that's really cool. So it's like small details to make the world feel interconnected and real. Like, because one of the things I love the most is when you're in certain areas looking at things that would actually realistically work. Like in the opening area in the ancient forest, you can shoot the rock and the rock will fall down and you can use that to your advantage.
Right.
That's just a cool weird thing. The fact that monsters come up to each other and will fight each other if they get in similar areas.
And have a turf war if it's in their turf.
If it's in their home, have a turf war, and how that would really happen in nature.
Right.
I love that. The game is all about letting the world work with itself.
Right. And see, that's with gameplay, it's just so much about how everything it can work so fluidly, and how, you know, I'm maining a bow right now, but I've also mained a charge blade, an insect glaive, and a great sword, and the proto commission axe. I forgot. That is charge blade. Never mind. But charge blade. Yeah, it's super fun, and there's a lot of variety.
Small stuff like dung beetles, actually looking and like being close to dung and rolling around little dung. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, you know, I don't know what it is, and it's weird and small, but I love it.
It's replaced that Destiny itch that I've had of a good game that is grindy, yet it's rewarding.
There's a satisfaction to the grind,
and that's exactly what it is.
So yeah, that's definitely where mine's at.
Our second question is, let me go ahead and pick one. I'm gonna go pick a random. No Fate, one of our boy Sean. He said, "Did you guys watch Altered Carbon?" Altered Carbon. I don't know why I can speak tonight. Can't speak on Netflix. Not yet. I've heard good things about it. I actually almost read the book like a year ago, or a little bit longer. Super cool premise. I didn't watch it, but I did fall asleep watching Cloverfield Paradox, and I woke up and that was playing for some reason, and I was kind of weirded out by it. So,
Netflix is like, you want to watch one Netflix exclusive, watch another.
Yeah, so I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard good things about it. But
same. One of my buddies at work, Mario, he mentioned that he watched it and he loved it, and I think I remember seeing the previews and how cool the concept was. I think it's a great idea, and I think it's really cool. So I have intentions to watch it, but right now I'm still kind of in the path and trying to finish Boy Meets World. So that's where I stand on the TV. I finished Boy Meets World before. It's not my first time. So don't jump on me for not knowing about Corey and Topanga's Love. I know.
I was going to say, yeah, you better. And our last question is our boy El Chabib. He said, gaming magazines. What is your favorite, old or new? Do you subscribe to any? And then he goes on to say that he liked EGM before they shut down, and that it was always nice flipping through the pages and reading the articles, which is pretty cool. I'm subscribed to Game Informer only because it goes with GameStop, and I have like their pro rewards. It's not elite rewards, is it?
Yeah, it's just pro rewards.
Okay, yeah. So I have their pro rewards. I have a couple of buddies that work at GameStop, so I don't really let that thing run out since I do shop there a good amount. But other than that, though, Game Informer, I don't read it anymore. Really, they're just kind of table pieces in my apartment. But back when I was like 13, 14, 15, 16, I did read almost everyone that came out. I read every review of them that was in there.
Oh, Game Informer, yeah.
Yeah, for Game Informer.
Yeah, and I did too. There came a point where once the internet started taking over, because that's the same for me, right?
See, even then, I just still read the Game Informers. Like,
well, but now the internet's so much quicker than Game Informer. Game Informer still gets cool exclusives, and I will say, if there's a game I really, really am interested in, I'll either read Game Informer or go to the site, one of the two, because I get the Game Informers for the same reason. I have the card, and it benefits me enough to where I'm like, Like, normally, I pay for my renewal with the points I've earned, so it's not even costing me anything at this point.
See, I just use those for random games I buy.
I do too sometimes.
For coupons or whatever.
Sometimes if it comes time to renew and I have the points, I'm like, just throw them on there. But yeah, I mean, I don't really deal with them anymore. One of the things for me is that growing up is really hard for me to get those cards. I couldn't afford them, so I did not have my own until I was actually like 17 and was worked at GameStop, and I bought one there because it helped me, gave me more discount alongside my employee discount, and it was just good because I bought a lot of used games because I was still broke and young. And I always loved the Game Informer stuff there, and I remember like Game Informer was still pretty like top of the line getting leaks and stuff, and they still do occasionally, and I read them occasionally. Sometimes I'm interested in their reviews and sometimes I'm not. It just depends. But I'm not into reviews as much anyway. I like to just read them. I don't care as much about the score that they give them necessarily.
Right, it's kind of like
it's just reading an opinion and being like, whether I agree with it or not is unimportant as long as they stated it well and made it known that, hey, this is my opinion. You could love this game, or this is just a subjective piece about what I felt about the game, and I'm fine with that. But like, I remember back in the day, like 2012, back in the day, but like 5-6 years ago, when they that's when everybody first learned about or relatively, it was one of the bigger things that they had found. Not saying it wasn't on the internet at the time, but Kingdom Hearts 3D, and that's all it was called at the time. It wasn't called anything else. It's called Kingdom Hearts 3D. And I remember that this is one of those perfect examples of Justin saying stuff before he really knew what was going on. This was back when he was bad about that. He said that was going to be a full 3D remake of Kingdom Hearts on the 3DS. And I was like, Justin, the original Kingdom Hearts in its entirety. 3D. Well, no, he's saying like for the screen, because it's the 3D screen for the 3DS. And I was like, Justin, I'll be real with you. I was like, this game would have to be cater-made for the handheld. That game from the PS2, I was like, if you just ported Kingdom Hearts over, it may run with a lot of tweaking, but why would they do that when they've been known to support handhelds with new games? And of course, I was right. It came out to be Dream Drop Distance, whole new game, important to the actual story.
It came out in 2012?
Came out in 2013, I think.
Oh, wow.
But so 2011, 2012 was when I found out about it. But anyway, it's why I bought a 3DS. I loved it. So yeah, at that point, I did like reading gaming magazines, but it's more or less past now. When they come in, I will briefly scan them to see if there's anything I'd want to read, and then I'll just kind of move on.
Yeah.
Because we do this podcast, there's not as much I get from it, and because of how I am with reviews anyway, and I don't need them, I don't fiend for them, or I'm not saying that you fiend for them, anybody does, but I don't even really care about their input. I'll just scan them one day if I'm bored and it's like, I wonder what people thought about this game.
Yeah. I used to have Nintendo Power as I was younger too.
I had a feeling that you would say that. See, because I never got Nintendo Power, but I was like, that seems like something that Seth and Saul would have just gotten.
Yeah, we did. It didn't last too long. Actually, you know what? Maybe we just bought them at like Books A Million or something. I don't remember, because we had a good amount of them. But I had another game magazine subscription. I just looked on Google. I couldn't find it because I can't remember what it was. But yeah, those were the jam when I was like 13, 14. So, but not anymore.
One that I used to do, even though I didn't read it too much, was the official PlayStation magazine when they actually still made it physical. I think that it still exists.
I got those a couple times as a website. Demo disc.
They had some really tight posters in it. That poster there, the Uncharted 3 and the Resistance 3 poster, both came out of official PlayStation magazines, and I had them framed because they're just really cool looking, and I love them.
There was a demo disc in one of the PlayStation magazines.
So I didn't buy those, but I knew somebody who had them, and they'd normally give them to me when they were done reading it.
Yeah.
I was like, woo.
Well, this had the first Splinter Cell on it for PS2.
Man, you remember the old PS2 demo disc they'd send out all the time? Yeah. That's the first time I played Ico. And a game called like Portal something.
There's a game, and I can't think of the name of it, but there's a game where you play as like kids in a neighborhood. It was a really cartoony style game, and that game was super fun too.
Portal Runner had like a woman and a lion on it. And it was a weird like
never seen that
puzzle game. It was super weird.
But yeah, did not know what R3 or L3 was either.
No.
Granted, this was like when I was like 11, 12, whenever.
Just starting to kind of make your way onto the PlayStation, right?
I didn't know that. No, I had a PlayStation 2 before I had an Xbox, and I had this for 2 years, and I did not know
that there was an L3 and
click a stick in. That's not something like I never played a game that had that.
Yeah.
So they're like, and I remember getting to that part in the demo, and I couldn't figure out. And then my friend was like, "Click the stick in." I'm like, "Why?" And
that sounds
that's
like
the button. Okay, whatever.
That sounds like Hannah's brother who came in today and was like, "I played like the first 13, 14 hours of Skyrim." He's like, I got all the way to the Thieves Guild and through the Thieves Guild without even knowing that I could sprint.
Oh yeah, because it's like R1. Isn't it?
I think it's L1, but L1. Or one of the two. It's more a shoulder button. But I thought that was so funny. He's like, I don't know, I just didn't think you could.
Yeah. But yeah, like I definitely did not know that. But let's hop into the main topic, which is something I've actually been wanting to cover for a while now, since it's fun, it's personal. And that's our biggest gaming pet peeves, whether it's a pet peeve from a technical standpoint that keeps happening, whether it's a game mechanic, whether it is something that a game does that is annoying to you, that you just can't get over. And for me, this list was miles and miles high that I had to actually trim down. We're going to be here all night long. I get really annoyed by certain things in games to the point of where I would stop playing them because it was so annoying. And it's a trend, that happens in other games. Did you want to start off, or would you like me to?
No, go ahead, because I didn't have a pre-made list when we were talking about it, and this one kind of sprung up because there wasn't anything else that we thought was very newsworthy to be topical about. So that's kind of how we do these topics randomly.
Sorry to interrupt, but if you submitted a question and you did not get read, do not worry. Like I said, eventually we're going to have a reader mail smorgasbord episode 2. And it's going to be nothing but the last part. Instead of having a topic, we're going to be talking about reader mail. And I'm going to put all these into a Google Keep, and we're going to get to those always. Something about the show I've been kind of wanting to change, and I meant to talk to Brett about it before, is like the reader mail. Sometimes we just get a lot of responses like we did this week, and I don't want to exclude anybody, but I also don't want that part to drag on so long that people are just
absolutely
bored and ready to go. So don't worry, if you ever submit a question, we will always read it at one point, and we'll post a tweet and let you guys know. But as far as one of my biggest pet peeves in games is either unskippable cutscenes.
I should have known.
Yeah, I can't stand that. Monster Hunter is the worst about it. Monster Hunter irritates me because if you forget to save or if you die on a quest and you have to go back on the quest, you can't skip any of these cutscenes.
No, when you die on a quest and go back, you don't have to watch the cutscenes again.
Yes, you do.
I've done it.
I died on Zora Magdaros because I got like knocked off the level at like almost half HP and it killed me somehow.
I died on Pink. No, not Pink Rathian. Yes.
That's
one
not
of
a
them.
quest.
Yeah, it is. That's a story quest that you see a cutscene for and everything. And I went back and did it, and I didn't have to see the cutscene again.
It is.
And that also the reason I know that is because if you start a mission and you fail it, after watching the cutscene and come back out, people can join your quest next time without having to wait for you to watch the cutscenes again because you don't have to watch them again.
That's because I'm thinking because you died. Because I died on Zora Magdaros' back. I got knocked off, and then I got back, and I had to watch the whole 4-minute cutscene again.
Maybe it was something to do with that specific mission, and that sucks. But that's not happened on normal missions for me. So.
And like there's a lot of things I'd rather just see like a black loading screen for.
So a perfect example is Nergigante. The first cutscene that you see is him busting out of that thing. We didn't see that when me and you did it. We didn't see it when me and you did it.
No, and that is a good example. But I don't like it when games and like Monster Hunter had one or two.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
I know that you were gonna go there,
but I can't stand.
Better than having the story on weird little tapes.
I guess you could argue that, but yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you're gonna throw even the smallest bit of shade at 4, I'm gonna throw.
I mean, 4 is good.
I'm gonna throw a little shade at 5.
Don't let me persuade you that 4 is not good because it's a good game. But another thing I can't stand is that when there is dialogue and you can't even skip past the dialogue, especially when the dialogue is already displayed on screen. For some reason, that annoys me. Because I've already read it and I'm like, this is time wasting. Can I skip this? Monster Hunter does that too.
What are you talking about? Where like they talk the dialogue?
You talk, the dialogue is on screen, and then you
can skip that on Monster Hunter.
You have to spam X, yeah.
No, yeah, but you can skip it. That's JRPGs.
Monster Hunter actually does something a little different than that. Actually, Monster Hunter does it to where every time they speak, the dialogue doesn't auto progress, so you have to press X. That's annoying to me.
Well, see, I don't mind that because if my daughter's talking to me or something like that. See, I guess that depends on like
the situation.
I like that because I hate it on certain games where it has like the automatic, like if you wait 3 seconds or whatever, it goes ahead and moves on. Yeah, and I'm like, damn it, what was that?
See, for me, I don't normally have any kind of distractions, so like when I'm trying to listen to dialogue and then I decide to like look over something to do something else while I'm listening and it stops. I'm like, I don't have to keep pressing X to hear you talk. Just talk. But yeah, games, the Zelda games are pretty bad about having dialogue boxes that are really slow in some points.
Sure.
Ocarina of Time to start that game up, dude.
I like games that let you choose.
Yeah, like the starting cutscene of Ocarina of Time of like Navi flying from the Great Deku Tree into Kokiri Village and meeting Link. That cutscene's like 7 minutes long or something. You can't skip it. Like, come on! I know it's there as like almost a fake loading screen is a partial too. I'm sure. Like, I'm sure that's
probably.
There.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure the back end of that game, but yeah, probably.
Another thing that irritates me too is artificial difficulty, like random killing, like random things killing you just to make the game harder.
Okay, you had an example of that on a recent game. What was it? Neo. There's
a spot where you have no absolute idea that this thing will knock you off this ledge. A kind of good example is the bats. Like, you can kind of see that, where if you walk in front of the bat cave or whatever and the bats fly out and knock you off, it's instant death. Do you remember that, Neo?
I do.
Okay, so that's one example. That's a little bit more foreseeable because they're there chirping. Mm-hmm. There is a spot, though, that is, I don't remember the name of the level or anything. It's the one that has like a sandy, it's like a forest, or not a forest, a deserty, sandy area with like a big building in the middle. It's a very small area, but you can go down through catacombs in the bottom.
Yeah.
That is annoying because there's one particular part where you're walking on this bridge and a pole will shoot out and knock you off that bridge. Nothing warning you at all. You just have to be
audio cues at all?
Nope. You have to just be instantly, because I replayed it recently and I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Okay, so do you feel like the same is said of like the enemies that hide in Bloodborne?
No, because half the time that's not instant death unless you're just low on health.
Okay.
Now this is instant death no matter what because it knocks you off a ledge.
Gotcha.
Just like the bats do. The bats.
Well, the ads are not instant death, depending on where you're at. Well, I never got knocked. I got knocked off once for instant death. The rest of it was like when you're trying to go up a mountain, then you fall down to where some of the
the lower levels are.
So.
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of artificial difficulty. Like a game killing you for the sake of it being hard, randomly and unfairly. That's not fun. That's
I could see that. I could see that.
That's not fun at all. But another big one is games with unnecessarily hard trophies, like to get. Okay, so a good example, and this is what I was talking about earlier.
I'll agree with you on this one. We talked about this a lot.
No, listen, Wolfenstein 2 has to get the platinum. You have to beat the game on
the second Wolfenstein, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty with one save file, and you can never die. You have to sit there for 12 hours, only save once. No, I don't think you can save it all. That's right. You can't save it all. You have to start a game on a profile and then beat the game without saving, and you can't die at all. So there's no such thing as a practice run in that case. Because you're literally going, I mean, unless you've beaten the game before, and then even then, that's not necessarily a practice run. You're on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, that's insane. Because
that's
one
nuts.
of the games that when you said that made me think about that, and I actually thought it was cool, even though I was like, it's still just a little too much, was the Dead Space games where you got to play through the entire game with only 3 saves. Now, anytime you die, you'll automatically go back to that last save.
I forgot
and
about
you get
that.
to choose where you save. So you got to be strategic about where you save so that if you die, say you're coming to a hard part, save right there for like your first, like try and push past parts even if you know they're a little hard to get to a point where it's more strategic for you to place a save. That way you can slowly inch your way up through the game. You have to beat the whole game like that. And I remember that's really crazy.
Yeah.
Just like, and I mean, it's funny because I see some people do it. Maybe it's just because of the way I do it with Dishonored, but like the Dishonored games are so hard to platinum because you have to play through the entire game without killing anybody. And then there's one where you have to play through, and you can, the argument's made you can do it in one playthrough, but it's extremely hard to go through an entire playthrough with nobody seeing you and not killing anybody.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
That's I don't know if I'd ever get that done. And if I did, I'd have the patience of a saint, and I don't.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's one of those things that's like, man, how do people get these platinums? But people do it. No, don't
wrong. Where
there's a will, there's a way. People will get platinums for any game.
I still think Monster Hunter is sitting at 0% right now. I don't think anybody's
probably. I haven't even looked at the trophy list, but I'm sure it's insane.
I glanced at it, not all the hidden ones, but I glanced at it, and there's one that is Monster Hunter PhD or whatever, and it's research every single thing about every single monster.
Which just means get it all leveled up to the highest level.
That's
a lot, though. That is a lot.
Because we probably haven't seen, 5 or 6, and we're 60, 70 hours in. I know people have already had, like...
You have to get every monster, and then you have to track their stuff enough to level up.
100%.
Man, that's insane. That's a lot. But, see, it's one of those things where I guess it just kind of depends, because there are games with even more ridiculous platinums. Okay, so, like, off of yours, my pet peeve, and, like, it ties into yours, and it basically is yours, but we've talked about it before, but just in case you're a newer listener and haven't heard it, it's games that have trophies that are linked to online things that are not inherently online games, like Mod Nation Racers, for example. And it's a weird thing. I talked about this the other day because of the genre it sits in, which is that play, create, share mantra. Not having any trophy related to that would be a little weird, I guess.
Yeah.
But not only is there a trophy for having to have someone download, you have to create and upload, and someone has to download one of each creation. So that's a cart.
It's 100 times.
That's a cart, a track, and a racer. Each one of those has to be like 20 times each, right? That's already bad enough. But on top of that, you have to get your creator level up to level 50. And then guess what? It's glitched. So it doesn't, as soon as you get to where it is the right amount for that experience, it's level 50, and then it's 250 experience. So you get to level 50 first, and 250,000 experience comes later. But when you get to 250,000 or whatever the number is, it doesn't click instantly. So you have to keep pushing back until finally the game is like, oh man, you're over this amount. Bam, now we're going to click. That's super annoying. And now going back to yours a little more, which is still, I guess my complaint as a whole is any trophy that has to have you rely on someone else.
Right.
And I've used that terminology before.
With Destiny
because
mainly,
Destiny, the Flawless Raider, I should be able to go through an entire raid.
As long as it's dependent on you.
As long as I don't die throughout the entire raid, regardless of who I am, I should be able to get that trophy. But here's a real gaming pet peeve that ties into trophies. Glitch trophies in general.
Yeah.
In Shadow of the Colossus, there's a trophy for the 8th Colossi, which is the one who who crawls up on the building to shoot his legs and he'll fall down. And you have to kill him.
My favorite one, actually.
Before he rolls back over. Okay? That's not that bad. It's kind of hard to do.
It's not, but it's tricky.
Here's the thing. Did it, right, on my New Game Plus roll through, because I didn't know that was a trophy the first time anyway, so I didn't try it until my New Game Plus roll through. I did it on New Game Plus, right? Didn't get the trophy. So I was like, what the hell?
You know what? Actually, you're saying this. I just now realized that I was supposed to get a trophy for something I did not get. I beat the knight
without breaking
his bracelet.
I got that one.
I just now realized
that.
I
got that one.
It took me like 20 minutes.
That's my point. It's one of those weird things where it's like, I hate when games do that, because then I don't know if, and maybe because it was time trial. I went back and time trialed him because I had to anyway, right?
Right.
In the time trial, I beat him without him rolling back over like that, which was hard because the time trial controls how much stamina and stuff you have.
The knight and bracelets is not time trial though, right?
No, I mean, none of that's, you can do that in time trial if you can.
No, I'm talking about the trophies.
Oh, no, the trophies aren't tied to time trial.
So yeah,
but time trial, you may not even be able to get the trophies in. That may be like a weird thing, but.
I specifically beat him in non-time trial because that's how I used to beat him. It's fun. You get on the edge of his sword. That's the very end of it.
Do you use the sword throw?
Yeah. Then when he lifts it back up, you let go and you just aim it, and then you land on the back of his neck.
You know what I did?
Huh?
I jumped on the sword and then got to the base of the sword, jumped on his leg plate, and then jumped onto above his wrist. Like, it's really hard to do, and you do it in one motion because he keeps his arm down for a second. And when he does that, you can jump over, and when it's still down, you can jump across and land on the fur above the collar.
I did something like that on an accident. The fourth one that you have to kind of trick to get it to look at under. Mm-hmm. I actually ran up to him, and I jumped off aggro onto his back leg and grabbed it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I did not know you could do that. I don't know if you could do that in the first game.
Maybe not, but did you know that you can climb the tendrils on his face? I've never done it that way.
I saw those as gripping surfaces when I was up on his back, and I was like, how do you... I guess you have to go back to the hole and jump out and grab it from inside the hole.
And it puts you right at the sigil, but...
Yeah, that's true.
That's super weird.
But
anyway, we don't need to talk too much about Shadow Colossus. We're going off. But, okay, so...
So you have yours.
Okay, do you have any more of your lists?
A little bit, but yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll just interject a few of mine. So, yeah, glitch trophies is a big one because it actually ties into inadvertently me answering a reader mail. If I'm not mistaken, there was a reader mail by someone who was saying, it was Liam.
It was Liam.
He was asking, based off of the Discord chat, if there's any platinums that I don't have that I wish I did or could go back to do or whatever.
No, he says, do you wish there was a game that had a platinum that doesn't? I mean, that doesn't have a platinum that you wish had.
No.
Did you misread that, or did I misread that?
I think you did, but it doesn't matter. Sort of based on Discord chat, what are the games you guys wish you had the platinum for, but still remains out of reach?
I misread that.
Okay,
Reading
so
comprehension. That's why you're cooler than me.
My number one, that's true. My number one is just because of how long it's been, and I still don't have it, even though I should have already gotten it. Partially my fault that I still don't have it. It's Infamous 2 because it glitched on me. Even though I beat the whole game on hard, I did not get the trophy for hard, which in turn led me to not even care about doing the online user-generated content trophies, which are the only trophies I have left for the game. But I got mad and I was like, screw this, I'm not doing it again. I just played this game twice all the way through and I was mad about it. Then I went back about 2 years ago now and was like, I just feel like playing Infamous 2 again because I love the game, right? And I went back and I played it. I played the whole thing on normal just because in my mind I was like, I'm only going back to play this because I love the game. And then I beat it, and literally as soon as I beat it, I was like, I could have beat it on hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, too late now. So
to answer that question, I wish Dark Souls 2 and 3, I wish I had those platinums. Like, dude, there's so much time to invest in those games and so many little things you have to do for side quests that you could mess up.
So the Discord chat that was based off of was actually me and him talking about Nier and Drakengard.
Yeah, he got that platinum.
Yeah, he did quick. He's
That's
like,
real quick.
Into it. So now he's basically got me all up in my feels. I got to go back and platinum Nier just so I can prove to him that I can do it. And that was so the reasoning for me wanting to go back and do it though, and I've been wanting it for a long time, is because I actually grinded out the platinum for Nier Automata, and I feel bad that I suggest for so many people play. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's personal guilt. It's not like anybody else saying anything, but you know when you recommend a game a lot, you feel like you should be like the master of that game somehow, some way. I guess a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you feel like that game should embody you. And I guess like me telling people to play Nier Automata, I'm fine with because I'm like, I play that game. That game is me. I've got that.
That's
game.
how I feel about the Dark Souls series, dude. I mean, I'm wearing the appropriate shirt and everything. Like,
yeah. So, but that's the thing with Nier 1 is I was like, well, why don't I have it in Nier 1? I played Nier 1 forever ago, and I'm close, but I just haven't done it. Now, Drakengard 3, I also recommend a lot. And I've got quite a bit for Drakengard 3 to do trophy wise, but those are some that are definitely for me. But man, definitely going to be that. I hate glitch trophies. It's just a huge deal for me. So let's see. I'm thinking of a couple more. One of the ones that came up very recently that I never even knew would be a pet peeve until I experienced it, because I've never seen it in any other game, and I think it's such a weird thing to do, is in the .hack GU remake, and this is true of the original too. I know they couldn't have done it because they're just doing an HD remaster, but do you remember I was talking about in that game, dialogue is said, and there was absolutely
no lip movement?
No lip movement.
Yeah.
Not even like the crappy, like, I'm just going to do like the Kingdom Hearts 1 mouth texture that changes to make it look like I'm opening and closing my mouth, which would have been better.
There's a game like that.
I've never
Dark Souls.
ever
I think
seen
every
that.
Dark Souls and Bloodborne game does that. I think Bloodborne, every single...
Okay, but games that aren't focused on cutscenes with a lot of dialogue,
Yeah, that's true.
necessarily. But I think you are right, because I don't remember the doll ever having her lips move. But the camera's not like hard panned in on them. The only time in the .hack games that you see lip movement is a very few cutscenes that are actually completely computer generated.
Because I know in Dark Souls, their lips don't move. Unless I'm missing an NPC that does. I don't think I've ever seen an NPC's lips move.
Yeah, and I mean,
So
I think there's a difference of experience where Bloodborne and all those games are games that you are playing for the world, and the way that it tells the story is through the world.
Right, not through the dialogue of the world.
Yeah, so
in most cases.
So yeah, that's a good example. I am wrong in saying that no other game has done it, because I'm 99% sure you're right on that one.
I don't think any other games though, other than that we've played.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like maybe Dynasty Warriors, but I haven't played Dynasty Warriors since PS2, so I don't care.
Speaking of Dynasty Warriors, when a game comes out at full price and isn't optimized at all.
Oh, is that the newest Dynasty Warriors?
Dude, Dynasty Warriors 9 on a PS4 Pro runs at less than 30 frames per second. On an Xbox One X, it averages 30.
And are they supposed to be 60 frames games or what?
Yeah, I mean, the PS2 ones were. Like those,
I had no clue, man.
Those
games, I'm telling you, those games have been... Now, okay, couple things. This one's going for a way different sandbox approach, right? A little bit?
I don't care. There's big battles with big people. That needs to be 60 frames.
Well, arguably. Because actually, okay, this is going to sound weird. This is not a pet peeve, but this is something I just was like, you know what, I'm going to mention this in the podcast. When I was playing Shadow of the Colossus, right? I played the entire first playthrough in cinematic mode on the Pro, right? Because I was like, I just want to see what this game can look like visually.
The best it can.
Not from the way it feels, but like visually, how striking can this game look, right?
Right.
I played it like that. I was like, man, this game's beautiful, right? So whenever I'm going through for New Game Plus, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to switch it on to performance mode, see how I like it. I actually feel like for that game, and there's people I've heard all day long be like, 60 frames per second is always better. I'm like, honestly, for this game, it does not affect anything. None of the game is quick moving enough for it to matter. You're only fighting one enemy at a time, and you are slowly climbing them. And once you're on where you are, you're stabbing into an area.
I had it set to action mode with motion blur off, and it's gorgeous that way.
Performance mode, you mean?
Performance mode, yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing. I mean, I like motion blur. I do. I know you're weird about it. But here's one of the things. At least on my PS4 and my TV, on 60 frames per second near the shrine, I had moments of screen tearing. Not horrible.
That's another pet peeve.
Screen tearing?
Get into. Lack of VSync support, more so in PC games. But yeah.
Well, actually, isn't there VSync? Just a random thing. Isn't there VSync in Rainbow Six Siege randomly?
Yeah. I don't know why.
That's a weird thing to see.
I think it's because the actual, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the actual multiplayer is like 40 FPS. It's not even 60. But I think the only thing VSync actually affects is Terrorist Hunt and custom games, I think. But I never had any kind of stuttering issues or even screen tearing issues with Shadow, but I will say that I did download The Witcher, the original Witcher, Enhanced Edition for PC, and I put the game at the highest settings and the lowest settings. And that game, with no VSync support, is tearing so badly.
On both?
On both. Because my computer, I guess, is better, way better than what it should have ever ran on. So I'm hitting 60 frames per second no matter what the settings are on.
Can you not change your settings to automatically be 30?
That's VSync. No, well, VSync, no. You can't put a limit cap on there, but VSync
is when it matches it to the frame rate of your TV. Yeah, your refresh rate. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can't cap your frame rate. You can't set your frame rate.
That's so weird.
It is. So I can't play that game.
Like I told you, I'm pretty sure that's a game that's on the Dragon Age Origins. That's the very first Dragon Age engine, which is so weird because the other two games did not use that. They
That
used
game
their
also
own proprietary
played
engine.
really, really weird, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't a great game, but obviously you can see that The Witcher has become one of the best series. Really, the story of every game getting like noticeably bigger. The Witcher 2 was like a huge jump, right? And The Witcher 3 was an even bigger jump in terms of people liking it and the critical acclaim for it. But back to gaming pet peeves, Saul. You got any more? I'm still trying. I'm still in the realm of trying to think of things that really annoy me.
Unskippable yet readable dialogue, unoptimized full release launched games. Let's see, unskippable cutscenes. I narrowed down this list because I have a lot baking in my head right now that I was thinking about. I was thinking about bad audio is one for me for sure.
It's just very rare that a game I play actually has bad audio. You know, it's funny how many of these are trophy related. Basically, one of my pet peeves is when a game that obviously should have a platinum doesn't have a platinum. You were talking about that earlier, like games that we wished had platinum. Like, that's what you thought Liam's question was. That is a pet peeve of mine. There are so many games I'm like, this game is too hard to, or not. Okay, I don't want to say too hard, but it's challenging enough and lengthy enough to 100% the trophy list. Why is there not a platinum?
There was a game we were talking about not too long ago that was not a platinum. It didn't have a platinum.
Is it
but it should.
Is it whatever? Gungeon? It's the Gungeon?
No, that has a platinum.
Okay. That's one of Blaze's. I'll throw one of Blaze's out there is games that have, like, games that don't have trophies for damn near anything.
Oh, no, dude. I don't think I've received. Let me check real quick. I don't think I have a single trophy for that
Blaze
game.
was talking about that. He's like, I've been playing the hell out of this game. He was over. I was playing Monster Hunter. I got a trophy for something. He goes, of course, you get a trophy for Monster Hunter. I've been playing Into the Gungeon for 27 hours and still don't have a single trophy.
I mean, unless it's a. I'm 9%, so obviously I have some trophies. Let's see. Spin big at the acquisitions department. That's buying everything in there. Clear the first chamber 55 times. Access the oblit, the hidden dungeon.
Sure.
Open the shortcut.
Okay, I'm going to go into a real weirdly wild one real quick.
Or kill by mimic.
And I've talked about this before. It's a preference. It's not necessarily a pet peeve, but it does come down to something I don't like, and like people talk about all the time. There's certain games I will skip because of this. I am just not big at all on games that are platformers. And I mean, like, at the core, they're more platformer than anything else.
Right.
And it's why people are like, well, you need to try Mario. I'm like, I just don't want to because it doesn't feel right to me. Is wonky. It's the same problem I have with Spyro. And it's that really wonky 3D camera that happens when you have an open, free-moving 3D camera in a platformer. And it's just something about the way the world builds up and like the way you move around the world. I like the way that a structured camera, when done well, and most games do it well, thankfully, like Knack and Knack 2, a forced camera that gives you a perspective that makes the platforming, I think visually my mind ties together better. I don't like, even on games that let you, the few I've played that have a full 3D camera, I normally set the camera in one spot and then I just do the spot real quick if I have to.
So even though you can use the right analog stick to control a camera in Mario, you don't like it?
No, I hate it.
That's so weird.
I hate it. I am much more likely to at least mildly enjoy my time with a Mario game if it's a 2D Mario. If it's a 2D Mario game, I don't think there is a 3D Mario game that has a locked camera.
Technically 64.
No, 64 has free roam camera.
Not in the traditional sense. The camera's locked on your back unless you move it. That's what I mean by locked camera.
Well, okay, but it still moves
because you can use
it still moves with you. But you can use a C stick. But that's not a set camera. See, I'm thinking.
You mean like the first Devil May Cry?
Sure, stuff like that. Now, Devil May Cry, it's weird because that's an action game,
right?
But a platforming game where you're doing a lot of jumping on very specific things.
Okay,
if you set cameras in right places, I like that because, and then not saying the camera won't move with you occasionally, but for the most part, it's a static camera. It sets up a frame, a shot, you run through it. That's something that I always love. That's why I thought Knack 2 did that perfectly. There was very few moments in that game that I don't think there was any moments in that game where I thought the camera was bad. They paid attention and made sure that the camera felt right for every moment of gameplay. So I have a gaming pet peeve that comes from this conversation. When you're playing a game and when you're going one direction and then it has a static camera and the camera flips and then suddenly, even though you were holding a direction,
the controls invert. Monster Hunter does that.
Oh my God, I hate that.
Dude, when you're climbing down the vine wall in Monster Hunter, The second you touch the right analog stick, you're automatically going the opposite way.
That's so crazy. So like, don't get me wrong, this is where I like. This is a shout out moment for games that when you're running and you go to a moment where the camera changes, and as long as you don't let go of the control, it continues to go in that direction. I love that.
How many times have you instinctively let go to fix it because you think it's going to auto rotate, then you end up reversing?
I've done it. I've done it before, and so that's a big pet peeve of mine. I cannot stand that, and that's one of the. I guess that is one of the few hangups of a static camera, is that can happen. I can't think of a single moment in Act 2 where that happened, thankfully. And maybe it's because I've adapted to it, but man, you talk about getting mad.
I'm pretty sure early Devil May Cry had a lot of those moments for me, because that game definitely, with that camera. I mean, I loved it, but like that camera.
New pet peeve too. It's funny thinking about this as we're kind of rolling through. I'm not going to just sit here and think forever, though. This is going to be one of my last ones. And this is actually specifically related. It's funny. One of the Colossi they always show and that people talk about and love fighting, blah, 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 is the third Colossi, the Knight.
That's my least favorite, I think.
Dude, I cannot stand him. And you want to know why?
Because
his AI is stupid as shit.
I was gonna say it's not even his AI, because technically you could always get a down slam on the plate, but it becomes a time sink because you can't get him to do what you need him to do.
Exactly,
it's annoying.
And you know what?
That's why he's my least. Him and the bird are my least favorite. The bird in the water.
The bird in the water?
Bird in the desert, yeah.
Oh, I don't mind him because
he throws you off. You're 5 minutes later, you're back on him.
No, not for me. He threw me off the most recent time, but maybe it's just that. See, I don't remember on the previous playthroughs if I've ever had issues with it, but this one in particular, I've done well. But my problem with the third dude, and definitely because like moving into how he's going to be set up for hard mode time trials, which I'm going to have to do because of where his new sigils are and stuff.
Yeah, his back and his.
It's on his arm. I don't want to spoil too much. It's his head.
It's his head. It's his tummy and his back arm, and then his other back arm.
No, it's just one arm. On hard mode, yeah, it's the head,
What's
tummy,
the
one
added
arm.
Sigil then?
That's the one. That's not in hard mode. The one on his arm is not there. It's
you mean the one in normal mode?
The normal mode, it's just stomach and head.
Okay, so it's on the opposite arm. Because I'm playing hard mode, and that's how I beat him. I thought that one was always there.
Nope.
I thought the new
that
one
right there is specifically
that's a hard
hard
one
mode
to get to. So that's probably why I had trouble with
it. So
it.
anyway, my point being is that with him, and when I was trying to get that trophy, I could not even get him to swing at me.
You have to stand on the plate, weirdly enough.
No, I did that. Wouldn't swing at me. Oh. Right? He'd start walking to me, and he'd walk over me. When I stood there, he'd walk right exactly where I am, and then try to kick and then do this movement with the sword, and he wouldn't even put it onto the plate. It'd be into the dirt, and I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" And I swear, I've had blood pressure issues lately, which is related to all my stress stuff from work, but. I mean, dude, today, whenever I was playing on hard and I couldn't even get him to throw the sword down for me to get onto him, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I was just yelling at it, and I was so mad because then the one time he did it, right, I didn't expect him to do it.
He probably
wasn't even like, and he did it quick. I was like, is the animation sped up? What the hell happened? He throws it down. I'm like, oh, God, I'm trying to get there real quick. Get on the sword. And even though I'm holding R2, and I was like, well, surely it'll grab me. And I just failed completely.
That happened a lot to me, too.
And it took every bit of me not to just stop playing. But
what's so annoying is when you already have a bracelet broke or something, and then he hits the plate again, because then it just bounces, and you're like, well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah, now I can't even get on.
That's my least favorite
Colossus. That stems back into... That whole game is AI oriented, and it's about the AI doing what you need it to do based off of what you're supposed to do to trigger the AI, right? And that's part of like the fourth one that you're talking about, where you got to get them to do the thing. I'm not going to completely talk about it for those who haven't necessarily. But anyway, yeah, the one with the 4 graves. When you're doing that one, that's like the aha moment. It's so cool in that, but. He always does it, even if the animation takes a little longer. Like not even animation,
he takes forever.
He does. He's slow.
Unless they sped him up in the new one. I remember
he will do it.
Yeah, the PS2 when he was 10 minutes in, he was finally getting
the first time I did the time trial for the third Colossi on normal mode, 3 minutes before he ever swung at me, and I was mad as all hell because you get 9 minutes to fight him, right?
Right.
And it took him 3 minutes to even swing.
Play that game in time trial.
I was so mad. I was like, "This is ridiculous." No, I'm wrong. I got it. On the first try, actually. It was 3 minutes. I thought I'd missed it, but I beat him in like 8:45, and I was like, this is ridiculous. It shouldn't have been that close. But yeah, that's one of those things is when AI just doesn't quite work the way you want it to. There's a weird immersion breaking one. This will be my last one. What were you going to say, Rob?
No, go ahead. I was going to lead in.
This is the last one. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't just kill me, but it is something that I wish that we could get to a point in which AI was smart enough to try and work around this a little bit. And I get that they do it to not hinder the player who doesn't have control over the AI partner. This is where AI partners come in to be an issue and why people are kind of worried about God of War. Even though if stealth is not a part of God of War, then you don't have to really worry about it.
Oh, but Ellie. Yeah.
Dude, playing that game, there is nothing more immersion breaking than when you're down, definitely when you're in the subway, underground, a very early game.
With all them clickers.
And Tess and Ellie are just running around, and you're like,
annoying.
woman, I'm trying to hide, and you just literally ran in front of one of them.
That game, that on whatever the second hardest difficulty is, the no HUD.
Yeah.
That's that part, the subway part, and then the ending. I'm not gonna say much because people may be playing it for the first time, but there's an ending part where you have Ellie in a snowy area.
Mm-hmm.
That's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But speaking of AI, my last one too, since we'll just wrap this up, is AI that talks too much in games.
Okay, this stems off of a little Dragon's Dogma, and even what you thought was going to be an issue early in
Monster Hunter. In the first hour, 2 hours that you're being kind of handheld to learn the game, that commander, captain, whoever he is again, that dude is so annoying.
It's not the commander, but whatever he is. Yeah,
he's a captain.
I think that's right, or something like that. But
Dragon's Dogma, Ryan's gonna hate me, but they just wouldn't shut up. They wouldn't stop talking. They wouldn't stop cheering you on. Hey Ryan, don't be mad. Persona 5 has it too. I love Persona 5, but I can't tell you how many times I've heard that's a good shot Joker, or that's a good hit Joker, or something Joker. The same line repeated 100 times by oh no, not Teddy, because that's Persona 4. I can't think of his name. Starts with the M. Anyway,
I don't know, but tying off of that, I have one. Continue.
Oh, I was gonna say, and it
will actually be my last one. So I don't.
Walking through open world games like Skyrim and keep hearing, what did somebody steal your sweet roll or something like that? There's a mod for Skyrim that I absolutely love, and it turns that crap off. It's called realistic conversations or something, in which you could walk by somebody and they won't just talk to you. I can't stand that in games like Skyrim and Oblivion, where you walk by someone and they look at you and go, oh, that doesn't happen in real life. Yes, what do you want? Hello? And then you walk by somebody.
By the nine divine.
Yeah, no, don't talk to me. I don't know you.
Sometimes I like it, but it's only when it's a character that you could tell they're coming. That's part of their personality. They're crazy. They're the crazy guy in town who runs around and just talks to people and be like, you have to understand, the end is coming.
Yeah,
it's I don't mind that, but I hate when it's
normal civilians walking around.
And it's my dad works at the coal mines.
Yeah, they can have.
Woman, I didn't ask you about your dad.
I like the conversations and stuff in between them. That's realistic and stuff, and that has good immersion. But when I'm walking and somebody stops and they do that weird Skyrim, they turn their whole entire upper half.
Skyrim's not near as bad, but Oblivion, where they're literally sitting there, go.
Yeah, and then
Have you seen the guy on YouTube who recreates them? It's so good.
With the apple eating it all.
Why won't you die?
Yeah, that dude's funny. But,
oh man, it's great.
But what was your last one?
So mine actually ties off of yours, so it's not going to be. It's going to be an extension of yours. It's just generally repeating and too commonly and too quickly, spaced repeating dialogue.
JRPGs are the worst.
And exactly. And the number one offender. Can you guess?
Kingdom Hearts.
Which one?
2.
What line?
Oh no.
Because as soon as I say it, you're going to be like, oh my God.
I don't know why.
You probably forced it out of memory because it's that annoying.
Because it's Goofy who says
nope.
it. No. It's, is it Donald?
Nope. It's Phil in the Coliseum. And it's, jump on the Hydra's back.
Yes. Jump on the Hydra's back.
And he says it every
3 seconds.
3 to 5 seconds. It is the most horrifying thing. I hate that part of that game. And it's an otherwise fun part.
Yeah, I'll say Coliseum is
It's an otherwise awesome part. But dude, that fight... I have never wanted to just punch a TV definitely when I was young. And you remember I was telling you I was going through my hard playthrough and when I fought Cerberus, that's where I stopped. Because that Cerberus part I think happens right after. It's been a while since I played 2 actually. And got to there into, but oh my God, dude, I will kill if there were random people for me to kill in Kingdom Hearts in that moment, I would do it just out of sheer anger. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. That is the worst.
Yeah.
I love that actually most of the Yoko Taro JRPGs do not have random dialogue that's repeated.
I love that. The only random dialogue of any kind is Emil driving around.
Yeah, I guess.
I couldn't think of his name.
And that's more quirky and right.
Yeah, that's forgiving though.
Throughout that entire boss fight, and it's funny, you'll be getting on his back, and until you get all the way to the head, jump on the Hydra's back.
Yep.
And you'll be like,
oh, trust me.
Phil, fake Danny DeVito. I will choke the life.
Yeah, that's not real Danny DeVito's voice. No way.
Hey, it's a pretty good impression. I'll give him that.
No, it's not. You can tell it's not Danny DeVito.
It's good enough though.
But yeah. So
All right, so
I
I guess that wraps it up. This is an interesting episode as you can tell, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know if this was going to be the topic whenever I was.
I like these kind of
getting through news
style though,
but just slowly thinking about these things. Like, see, that goes to show you I've repressed the jump on the Hydra's back because I hate it, and it almost makes me want to turn. Like, it makes me not want to ever play Kingdom Hearts again.
If you leave your phone around me too long, I'm gonna put that as your ringtone,
and then call me.
Right, but.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Saul, no last words, right?
No, that's just about it. You guys know where to find us on Twitter, and if you don't, it's Triangle SQRD.
Yep.
We have a new episode every Monday at 10 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. And
nope, backwards.
No, it's... Brett did it to me.
Boy. All right.
But yeah, so if you guys like this, be sure to leave a like on the video. Get in the comments. Get creative with this. Comment. Let us know what you thought. Tell us anything that annoys you in video games.
I would definitely like to hear some of people's annoying things. Because I know that I'm brain farting on a lot right now, but I know there's some stuff. I'm going to ask the people in the Discord chat just to see what their answers are.
And as always, if you listen to us on a podcast service that has a review system, rate us. Don't care if it's a 1-star, a 3-star, 5-star.
Let us know we're doing well, and it gets us up there in case you do like us.
Yeah, if it's a bad rating, let us know why. If it's a bad comment, let us know why.
And we've had a lot of feedback lately. Some of the things we want to do are slower to implement. And we are working on that.
Timestamps is something that we should have on this episode.
Yeah.
So by the time you hear this, you've already found out there's timestamps and you clicked on them. So
yeah, there you go. All right, well, Saul, until next week, thank you for joining me. And this has been Triangle Squared.
Thank you, guys.